Hello, folks. Welcome to Thrive Live, the live show we do every Thursday at 1:30 Mountain Standard Time. I'm Steve Leavitt. I'm the director of Rock Your Family Counseling Center here in Colorado Springs. And we do this every Thursday at 1:30 Mountain Standard Time, 2:30 Central. It's kind of a fun thing we do. It's called Thrive Live, and it's Thrive Live, because we do it live, where you can actually chime in. Whenever you see me come up, you can get online, watch this, and actually ask questions, interact, comment, go back and forth. And today's subject, marriage and intimacy. And I'm going to explain why in just a second. Marriage and intimacy. We're going to talk about that today. It's a hot topic, and I'm not afraid to tackle it. We're going to talk about it and see how we do today. So again, I am Steve Leavitt, director of Rock Your Family Counseling here in Colorado Springs, where we do regular counseling. We do telehealth counseling. We do phone and video sessions with folks. We do marriage retreats and family, marriage, and individual intensives, where you can come in, see us for 5, 7, 10 days at a time. Very intensive program. But we get outside, and what makes us different is we do experiential therapy, where during that intensive, we get out, rock climb, zip line, do outdoor adventure stuff, kayaking, a number of different low ropes courses. We do a number of different things, high ropes course, in therapeutic environments. So we do those with a therapy in mind, and it works pretty good. It's pretty cool. So again, here's the website, rockyourfamily.org. If you want to know more, you can check it out there, rockyourfamily.org. Today's topic, marriage intimacy. All right. Let me tell you why I'm coming back to this subject. I think I've talked about it a little bit here off and on. But we've created a TikTok account, and it's blown up and gone viral. And on this TikTok account, it's called Steve Life Tips. On this TikTok account, I do a lot of mostly marriage and intimacy, marriage, communication, all the different aspects of marriage on this TikTok account, which is pretty cool. I also do a lot of anxieties and stuff on there too. But I have done one video. I've got almost 100,000 followers now on this Christian marriage topics, right? And I did one video on marriage and intimacy, a 60-second video. It's just a short 60-second video. And I talked about the different aspects of marriage that we're going to talk about today in an expanded 30-minute version. And I talked about marriage and intimacy. That video now has 1.4 million views. 1.4 million views. Not because I'm all that in a bag of chips, I don't think. I wish, but I don't think that's what it is. I think it has to do with a Christian talking about marriage and the reality of marriage, and a counselor talking about the reality of what is true and real in marriage, and the population of TikTok that is on TikTok. And I just blew their circuits. I just rock their world. So many people were angry, nasty messages, and disagreeing with me about this and that. And I believe it has to do with the population of TikTok in general. But then there's this other population that it's so refreshing to them. They're so excited to actually stop seeing trash all over TikTok and actually seeing the beautiful parts of marriage. So, I don't know. It worked. People love it, and they wanted more of it. So I'm talking about a lot of other stuff on there as well. So I'm going to bring some of that in here today to what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to try to watch the comments. We're live right now on YouTube, live on Facebook. We're live on TikTok, and I'm going to try to watch all of it. Some folks are really loving this subject on TikTok, I see, which is awesome. Hey, TikTok, glad you guys are joining. Here's the deal. Let's talk about, first of all, let's start off with what are the norms, the averages. You read any of the studies about marriage, you read any of the documents about marriage and what the normal and averages are. I have had over 4,000 clients so far in my career, over 30 years. So I have this pretty big population of what's normal among that 4,000 clients and friends and stuff too. I speak to huge groups all over the country all the time on this subject. I have a pretty good beat on what's normal and average. So not everybody's going to fit in that category. A lot of people got mad because they don't fit in these norms. And that's fine if you don't fit in these norms, but it doesn't change that that's still what is normal and average among most healthy marriages in America. So if you're interested, let me just share with you some statistics or some norms. Yes, we're in Colorado Springs, by the way. I'm getting a question. Are we in Colorado Springs? Yes, we are. Rock Your Family Counseling.org. It's rockyourfamily.org. It's Rock Your Family Counseling Center here in Colorado Springs. Here's what's normal. Average couple in terms of intimacy. The average couple has sex about every third day. That's what works out to be about the normal. A couple of times a week. That one alone blew everybody's circuits. But what I'm going to say next blew it even more. The reason why, let me just go through this. The reason why the average is about every third day, it's really actually driven by the man. And let me explain that. A man has a sexual cycle where once he has sexual release with his wife, has sex and has release, his body relaxes. His body says, okay, good. Wow, that was great. I can breathe again. And over the period of 2 or 3 days, he actually gets a fluid, semen and sperm fluid buildup that starts triggering his body to want release again and triggering him to want to be intimate again with his wife. And so about every third day is where he's chewing on a stick and really ready to have sex again. And that is, I would say 90% of men that I know are fit in that category. And so the wife figures out, hey, about every third day keeps him happy, keeps him in a good place. Honestly, if we're just going to be frank about it. And whenever he has that release and he's relaxed, and he's not all pent up and needing to be intimate and release and everything else, and closeness with his wife. I don't want to throw that out there, but whenever he is able to feel connected to and pursued and loved and relate to his wife in the bedroom, he relaxes. Everything's okay. It makes him a better husband. It makes him a better father. It makes him a better Christian. It makes him a better person. It makes him a better employee. All these things in his life work better when that 3-day cycle, about every third day. Some people it's every other day. Some people it's every 4th or 5th day. But right in there, about that average, he's just a better man. So that drives couples to average out about every third day. So there you go. There's your first normal statistic. Now, the statistic that blew TikTok up, I bet I had 200 or 300 aggravated comments, nasty comments on this one. And most of you're going to go, yeah, tell me something I don't already know. It's that, hey, men want to have sex more than women. All the journals say that. All the journals report that. Hey, Tondo, I'll get to questions in just a second. Let me get through this part. Somebody's wanting to ask a question. All the stats prove that to be true. Men want to have sex more than women on average. Not every couple. There are some women that have super high libido. That's a small amount. There's a whole nother group of women that want to have sex more than their husbands, not because they have a higher libido. They think they have a higher libido, but that's not what it is. What it is they're seeking connection because their husbands are emotionally distant, and that's the one way they feel connected with their husbands. So they seek sex to feel connected with them and relatable with them. And they think they have a higher sex drive. Once the husband's pursuing them for sex every day, they wave the white flag really quick and go, well, maybe I didn't want to have sex so much. There's a lot of reasons why women might want to have sex than men. And there's obviously all the man reasons. Some men aren't as interested in sex as the average man. Let me explain that. It can be low testosterone, right? It can be childhood psychological issues that they've gone through. It can be an alcohol problem. Guy who's drinking or drugging all the time, is suppressed. He doesn't. It could be medication related. It could be blood pressure related. It can be a lot of things going on. Maybe he is just exhausted. But the average guy, by far, most men want to have sex more than their wives. That's just an average statistic. So there's kind of what's normal. Most couples aren't having crazy sex all over the place and wild and everything else. Is pretty routine most of the time for most. I do a lot of sex therapy, so I can speak to this. Most of it's pretty routine and average sex. They both enjoy it, both able to have release, and that's pretty average for most couples. Some couples have sex whenever he really needs it and she doesn't want to. They do it anyway, or she really wants to, and he always is on board with that, so they have sex. Most of the time, it's though we need to do this about every third day, and it just keeps us in a good place. So that's what your averages and normals are. So what are your questions or comments so far? Anybody want to ask or comment or ask a question about that so far before we go on? Let's see if we have any interest or comments. I believe we had one on TikTok. I had like 12,000 people watching. Just wanted to say you're awesome. Love your traditional approach to marriage. Yeah, we call that traditional. And it is, but it's been traditional for the last 8,000 years, to be honest. It is only in the last 40 or 50, maybe 60 years that it's become untraditional. This has been kind of the traditional way of marriage, is the way it's always been in most societies for the history of the world. It's only in the last little bit. I'd love to talk to you psychologically on why I think in the last 60 years, sexual revolution, a lot of other things have changed to where traditional marriage isn't, what it used to be. Nobody takes marriage seriously anymore. You got that right. You got that right. Thank you for posting this on TikTok. You really help a lot. You're welcome. Absolutely. Any other questions? Tondo, you had a question on TikTok. Have I missed it again? I'm sorry if I did. I'll keep watching for it. Try to catch it. Keep posting it. I'll be glad to answer your question there. Facebook, if you have a question, we got viewers on Facebook right now. So if you have a question, more than happy to answer any question you have. I haven't seen anybody else. By the way, if you're on Facebook watching right now, would you just say hello so I know that my comments are working? I'm not sure they're working. If you're watching on Facebook, just say hello so I can see that the comments are working. All right, so we're going to move on. If we're good with any other questions about what is normal and average among couples. I'm going to say something kind of TMI. All right, there we go. I see some folks now. All right, good. You guys ask questions if you want to. I'm going to get a little TMI here, so just hang on. Sorry. Kids in the room, shoo them out. But everybody needs to know this and wants to know this, but are too afraid to ask. So I'm just going to talk about oral sex. Traditionally, men desire to give and receive oral sex way more than women. And I'll get a ton of comments that'll say, oh, that's not me, That's fine. Okay, that's not you. But traditionally, on average, and the norms, look at the studies, don't get mad at me. That's the truth. And the average couple, maybe once or twice a month, engage that way. And it's typically more for him than for her. So, FYI, everybody always asks that question. So, I think I missed another question. There we go. Tiffany asked a question. Hang on. And the question is, oh, I don't know. That was a comment, not a question. All right. Anybody else on TikTok? If you got a question, let me know. All right, so let's move on. A couple of other things about intimacy in marriage. One of the most important parts to understand about intimacy in marriage is the idea. Hold on. Okay. Somebody is asking why. Why are those? I explained that earlier. If you want to know, you can go to Rock Your Family on Facebook and watch it over again. Just getting on. Do you have tips for dating or just marriage? Right now, we're just doing a show on marriage. So hang with me on that. So here we go. Let me explain a little bit more about intimacy. One of the most important parts of marital intimacy is setting the stage for it. You can't just live like two slugs on a leaf meeting up to have sex every once in a while. It doesn't work that way. Actually, it does kind of work that way for men. We don't really care. Anytime, we don't care if you're mad at us or, we don't care about that or that. We're most men are, we don't need too much setup, right? In fact, 8 seconds is the average prep time for a male to be ready for sex. 10 to 20 minutes is what it typically takes a woman of foreplay to be ready for intercourse. That's just for the intercourse. But for her to desire or be good with intimacy, she needs a whole lot of work outside the bedroom. One of the most popular books in history has been that sex begins in the kitchen, meaning that husbands, do some dishes, do some cooking, help her around the house, love on her outside the bedroom, which helps her inside the bedroom. Whenever she feels nourished and loved outside the bedroom, like I can vacuum some floors if that's foreplay, right? Like I know I can get a vacuum cleaner, right? I'm good at that. That stuff outside the bedroom helps things inside the bedroom, because men, you've heard this many times before, men are a microwave sexually on average, and women are a crock pot on average sexually. You got to put that roast on in the morning and doctor it all day long, and hopefully it's ready to go. Now, by the way, all you listening and frustrated right now, I forgot to say this earlier in the video. This is important. I'm speaking to the majority of people that have been married. They are in a committed, faithful marriage, and they're past either their first child or 3 to 5 years. That's what I call the wall. Before that, people live off of infatuations. These statistics are not going to hold true to that. If you're dating or if you've just gotten married and you don't have kids yet, the statistics won't hold true. But these statistics are post-wall, which is most married couples, because it's 3 to 5 years into marriage or after the first child. So just that, I needed you to know that, and I'm sorry that I left that out before. Let me give you another really important part of intimacy and why it doesn't work. This is what almost all married couples bring into me for work. They need some help in their sex life. They're struggling with intimacy. And so I talk about this with almost every married couple I counsel, is the emotional aspect. She needs to feel safe. I'm just going to be blunt about this. For a woman to be, for most women post-wall, deep into marriage, she needs to feel safe in order to be intimate. She's going to have to take her clothes off, let you inspect her, men. And that in itself is very difficult for a lot of women to be inspected. She's uncomfortable with her body usually, and she's going to have to be vulnerable, and she's going to have to literally open her body up and be invaded. For someone to be on top of her and be invaded or whatever, it's very vulnerable. It's very uncomfortable if a woman doesn't feel safe. Think about if you are mean to her outside the bedroom, if you say nasty words to her or talk ugly about her body, right? Think about if you treat her harshly and then expect her to be that vulnerable. Okay, do to me whatever you want. It's not going to happen. Women aren't in general built that way. If they do, there's typically some other issues she's got going on that kind of promote that. But she has to feel safe. Now, about this time is whenever all the women are going, oh, I wish my husband was listening to this. Oh, I wish we got 60 people watching right now on TikTok. Oh, I wish my husband was watching this or listening to this. Because it's so helpful for men to understand how they can love their wives well, make them feel safe. You can't be nasty and ugly, drink all the time, disregard their needs and their wants, and then try to get your needs met in the bedroom. It doesn't work that way. A woman can't do that well. And men will come in all mad at their wives, and they haven't given their wives any reason to feel safe and want to pursue that. So they have to feel safe. Super, super important. Ladies, I'm going to give y'all a little tip here about the bedroom. For those of you who are uncomfortable with your body, right? Those of you who are uncomfortable with being vulnerable with your body, 30 years of counseling, many 4,000 clients, trust me on this. It is not what you think and what Hollywood and TikTok and everything else has taught you about your body. What he wants is not the perfect body. He doesn't mind that little pooch. He doesn't mind that whatever, or small breast or big hiney or whatever. Those aren't the problem. What men desire is for you to feel and act sexy. Men want to engage in sexuality. I know this for a bunch of different reasons I'm not going to get into, but what men want is for you to find your sexy, find your sexuality, to feel sexy and pursue him in a sexy way. That is the most desired thing in most men in the bedroom. Just FYI. Anybody got a question or comment about that? Yep. Somebody's saying that they still try to meet their husband's needs even whenever they don't feel like it. Look, most women don't feel like it most of the time. Argue with me all you want, TikTok. If you're not that way, wonderful, beautiful, but that is not normal. The average couple, most of the time, the woman would rather get 20 more minutes of extra sleep, right? That actually isn't unusual. I got to watch the time here, but that it actually isn't unusual. It's pretty common, and it has to do with men actually continue to get sexual arousal that triggers them to want to have sex. Women tend to lose their sexual arousal. Now, if they're being loved well and they're viewing intimacy correctly, they still want to connect and be intimate with their husbands, but not because they're feeling levels of sexual arousal. That's not what's driving it. And so women will say, I'm not that interested. But whenever your mind is right about this, whenever men, here's the formula. Men, whenever you're loving them well outside the bedroom, making them feel safe, nurturing them, dating them, pursuing them, talking with them, emotionally connecting with them outside the bedroom, you're doing your part right. Ladies, whenever you're viewing that intimacy as part of the connection that the couple needs to feel connected and super glued together, it's the one thing you do with each other that you shouldn't be doing with anybody else. So it glues you together. And you see the value and it changes his world. Just a 20-minute investment twice a week, 20 minutes twice a week changes his life. Trust me on this. It's night and day difference. It's a small investment. Whenever he feels like he's a priority for that 20 minutes or whatever, whenever you're able to engage that way, then you want to do that. Now, both of you are there wanting to be intimate. You're both wanting to be emotionally intimate. You're both wanting to be verbally intimate. It just flows out together. By the way, you also need to be physically intimate. And I also believe spiritually intimate, right? All of those should be flowing together. Questions or comments? Men don't want to talk. You're right. We don't want to talk, just like a lot of women don't want to be intimate. Men, learn how to talk. Men, learn how to talk. Talk to your wives. Exchange words. Talk to them. Women on average say 20,000 words a day. Men on average say 8,000 words a day. We have to talk. Ask your wife questions. Totally feel safe whenever her husband is only 25 years. Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry. Missed that comment. All right. Any other questions or comments? I'm going to talk about one other thing. And it's the idea of what every spouse, after years of marriage, what happens if you show more than you're given credit, both men and women? So I believe in marriage. This person is asking, what if you feel like you're giving more than getting in the marriage? Good. I believe that's the way it's supposed to be. When I find couples find their groove, it's whenever both of them feel like they're giving 60 and getting 40. Good marriage requires for you to put your spouse's needs above your own and to learn to lose battles to win wars and not pick every battle and not fight every battle. Lose the battle to win the war. But put your spouse's needs above your own. Therefore, if you feel like you're giving 60 and getting 40, you're just about right. That's a good combo, right? The last thing I'm going to talk about is pursuing your mate. I don't care how long you've been married. Pursue your mate. Yeah, somebody's arguing with me saying, nah, 100, 100. Doesn't work that way. I agree. Obviously, that'd be perfect. But in a real world, it doesn't work that way. I don't think you can give 100. Both of you giving 100%. You're just not perfect enough. You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. You're not going to always love your spouse well. But if you're giving more than them in terms of the ratio of who's giving most, if you think you're giving more than your spouse and getting a little bit less, that's about right. Pursue your mate. I don't care how long you've been married. Pursue your mate. Pursue them in what they need to be pursued in. Look, I'm fine at pursuing my wife sexually. I'm really good at that. I do that all the time, but I don't pursue her well emotionally all the time. And I have to work at pursuing her verbally and service wise. So I have to work at that part, just like most women have to work at pursuing their husbands with physical affection and intimacy. Now, the problem with you pursuing him with physical affection is this. Obviously, he's going to want to go to the bedroom. Men don't have non-sexual touch, right? If we're touching and being touched, usually it's turning us on. But we have to learn, men, how to not do that. So just FYI. So I'm going to wrap up. I got a couple of minutes. Any other questions? Not arguing respectfully. Yeah, gotcha. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? I got a few minutes left. I'll be glad to do that. TikTok, if you want to watch this again, because it won't come back up on the live video. If you want to see this again, go to Facebook and go to Rock Your Family, or YouTube, Rock Your Family. Rock Your Family on YouTube, or Rock Your Family on Facebook. We're a counseling center in Colorado Springs. The video will be up there. Should be up hopefully today. Facebook, it'll be up there today. YouTube, hopefully tonight or tomorrow. It'll be up there. You can go watch this again, show it to your spouse, send it to your friends, rock this out. This video needs to be heard. It's the most popular subject I talk about all the time, and people love it. Like I said, 1.4 million views on TikTok so far whenever I did a 60-second video on this subject. So now you just got 30 minutes of it. Hopefully it's been helpful to you guys. If we don't have any other questions, then we're going to wrap it up. Remember, right here, rockyourfamily.org. You can check us out there. You can make an appointment. Come do an intensive marriage intensive with us. How do you get men to understand women's need, their emotional connection? I don't think men are ever going to understand that. There's actually a Bible verse about that. Live with your wife in an understanding way as a weaker vessel, but equal heir to the kingdom, so that their prayers will not be hindered. Men aren't going to really understand. They have to do it not understanding it. They just need to be able to put your needs above their own. I don't understand why women need that much emotional connection, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to connect with you by asking you questions, by relating to you, being interested in your world. I'm going to try to relate to you that way, and that's going to make you feel emotionally. I'm going to care what you care about, and I'm going to laugh with you and cry with you, emotionally connect. And men just don't do that well. That's just how it goes. All right, I got to wrap up. I got an appointment I got to get to here, but you guys have been awesome. Thanks for tuning in. rockyourfamily.org is the website, and go and watch this again at Rock Your Family on Facebook. It should be on YouTube. Rock Your Family on YouTube tomorrow, and check it out. Do you do marriage retreats? Yes, we do. We're planning 2 of them right now for this summer. So far, probably late June and mid-August. I have an awesome marriage, but I always think there is stuff we can make better. Yes. So we do those. They'll be on our website soon, hopefully in the next week or so. They'll be up. But we always do marriage intensives. If you want to come alone, just you and your spouse, with me for 5 days, 7 days, we can do that. That's on already. It's called intensives, and it's already on the website. You can check that out. All right. Got to run. You guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in, right? Keep on keeping on. Thanks for coming to Thrive Live. We'll be back again next week, same time, every week, Thursday at 1:30 Mountain Standard Time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.